The words you speak to yourself become the seeds of your future. They grow roots in the unseen and blossom in the visible. And I say unto you now, child of the infinite, your voice, your words, your declarations, they carry the power of life and substance. Your spoken word is your wand. Speak it with faith. Speak it with certainty, and it shall not return void. For just 3 days I ask you to speak to yourself differently. Not with fear, not with lack, not with limitation, but with divine authority. Talk to yourself as one who walks with God, as one who is backed by the wealth of heaven. Every time the shadow of doubt creeps in, cast it out with a stronger word of truth. Every time you are tempted to say, I can't afford this, say instead, God is my instant and everlasting supply, and all my needs are met now. You do not beg for abundance, you command it with the vibration of belief. You do not chase money, you magnetize it with your faith-filled declarations. For 3 days, do not speak of what is missing. Speak only of what is manifesting. Say to yourself, my bank account is increasing daily, in expected and unexpected ways. Money flows to me freely, frequently, and from multiple sources. Say it not as a hope, but as a law already fulfilled. When you say, I am a child of the King, the universe must respond. When you declare, riches are drawn to me with divine ease, the floodgates must open. For the law of prosperity is a law of vibration, and your words are the code that unlocks the doors. If you will talk to yourself like this for 3 days, just 3, you will activate a power so strong, so magnetic, that even your bank account must obey. Your words are currency. Speak as though you're already wealthy, and wealth will obey. The outer is ruled by the inner. Change your inner conversation, and you change your outer condition. So I invite you, speak aloud the language of abundance. Declare your inheritance. Call forth divine supply. Do not wait for proof. Your faith is the proof. The word is the bridge. And the word, when spoken with conviction, moves mountains, parts seas, and fills empty accounts. For 3 days, talk to yourself as the rich soul that you are, and watch. Watch what happens to your money. Watch what happens to your spirit. Watch what heaven does when your voice becomes a command and not a complaint. It is done unto you as you believe, and you believe through what you speak. Speak, believe, receive, and watch what happens. I do not chase money. I magnetize it. I release the energy of pursuit and enter the stillness of trust. I do not scramble or grasp or worry, I align. I align my thoughts, my words, and my feelings with the vibration of having, not wanting. For in the spiritual realm, wanting only signals lack, but having is the sacred key. So I claim what is mine. I declare that money loves to find me, that prosperity circles back to me like breath returning to the lungs. I am a divine magnet for wealth, not by effort but by essence. I do not need to strain, I need only to speak. I walk as if every step is on to gold. I sit as if royalty resides within me. I rise each morning and whisper to myself, abundance knows my name. I do not ask the world to validate it. I know it because I have spoken it, and what I speak with conviction must materialize. My spoken word is not idle chatter, it is divine decree. The words I say are not floating dust, they are creative force. When I affirm truth, I activate law. When I declare my wealth, I awaken the stream of supply that is already mine. And I do so gently, but with unshakable power. The universe is not confused. It waits for my clarity. It listens not to my hopes, but to my commands. I do not beg the heavens, I partner with them. I do not plead with God. I agree with God. And when I agree with the infinite, mountains move and money flows. My words are not random. They are sacred instruments of change. Each sentence I speak becomes a seed. And just as surely as the soil answers the seed with fruit, the universe answers my voice with substance. I speak to the invisible and it responds in form. I do not wait to see before I believe, and then I see. I say what I desire as though it already exists. I say it out loud. I say it in love. I say it in rhythm. And the law is bound to obey. I do not speak of lack, for lack is not my portion. I speak of overflow, for overflow is my inheritance. I call money to me, not with fear but with faith, not with pressure but with praise. And so I remind myself again and again, my words are orders to the universe, and the universe obeys. My voice is an echo of divine authority. I do not speak timidly, I speak from the throne within me. When I say, I receive, heaven begins to arrange. When I say, it is mine, doors begin to open. When I say, I am wealthy, the currents of life bring every resource into harmony with that truth. My word is law. My faith is currency. My belief is magnetism. And my voice is the sacred vessel through which all abundance is delivered. So I continue to speak, to affirm, to declare, not because I am trying to convince the universe, but because I am aligning with the truth I already know. I affirm, I am one with the substance of God, and the substance of God is endless supply. And as I flow into this truth, I flow into the next wave of manifestation, already forming, already rising, already ready to be received. I am one with the substance of God, and the substance of God is endless supply. There is no beginning and no end to the source that feeds me. I do not earn it, I inherit it. I do not chase it, I allow it. For I am made of the same divine fabric that created galaxies, and in this fabric there is no lack, only fullness, only plenty, only radiant sufficiency. As I stand in the truth of who I am, I realize that I do not need to force prosperity to come to me. It is already within me, waiting to be spoken into visibility. I am not separate from wealth. I am made of it. I am not hoping for supply. I am immersed in it. There is no place I go where the presence of abundance is not with me. I carry it in my voice, in my breath, in my spirit. The divine cannot abandon itself, and I am divine. I am an expression of God's infinite wealth. I do not compare my life to others. I do not measure my worth by numbers. I speak what is true in the realm of spirit, and that truth bends the material world to its image. I no longer see a difference between the spiritual and the material. All is one. All is God. All is supply in different forms. When I walk in this knowing, miracles become natural. I do not panic over bills, I speak to them. I bless them and affirm they are already paid. I do not tremble at the sight of my account, I talk to it. I say, you are growing now. You are multiplying now. You are the evidence of my inner wealth. I treat money as sacred energy, and I command it as a faithful servant. It obeys my tone. It listens to the way I speak of it. I talk to money as I would talk to a dear friend, not with fear, not with resentment, but with warmth and welcome. When I say, unexpected income is always finding me, I am richly supplied, I open the way. I open the way for phone calls, for gifts, for refunds, for deposits, for surprises that feel like divine kisses. I do not need to figure out how. I do not need to know who. I speak the what, and heaven orchestrates the rest. When I declare that I am richly supplied, I activate spiritual law, and the law never forgets what I have spoken. The moment I affirm it, the chain reaction begins. I am no longer bound by the evidence of the outer world. I walk by inner sight. I speak from inner truth. I do not declare. I do not doubt, I affirm. I do not shrinky expand. And the more I affirm my wealth, the more I become a channel wide enough to receive it. The more I expect the unexpected, the more it flows in. I do not just believe in miracles, I expect them daily. I expect money to find me, love to support me, favor to surround me. This is not imagination, it is law. It is principle. And I am the vessel through which this law is activated. I now release every fearful word I have ever spoken about money. I forgive myself for every complaint, every worry, every limit, and I begin anew. I now talk to myself, to money, to life with divine power. I speak the vibration of overflow. I expect miracles, and I allow unexpected income to surprise me with joy. Unexpected income is always finding me. I am richly supplied. I am constantly surrounded by divine opportunities wrapped in ordinary moments. I do not need to understand the details, I trust the design. I do not look for the blessing with anxious eyes, I let it arrive with grace. For the supply that belongs to me does not miss me. It is encoded into my vibration, summoned by my faith, drawn to me by my expectancy. I say it daily, with peace in my heart. Unexpected money is always making its way to me. I say it not to get something, but because it is already so. I speak it as fact. I declare it as truth. And heaven responds. Each word I speak becomes an invisible doorway. My declarations are not idle, they are activators. When I say I am richly supplied, I am opening the gate to provision that was always mine. I am stepping into alignment with the source that never runs dry. I am no longer asking life to give to me, I am agreeing that it already has. My speech is no longer filled with confusion, contradiction, or contradiction. My speech is clear, certain, and creative, and with every sacred phrase I affirm, the universe arranges itself to match. I release my grip on how the income will appear. That is not mine to figure out. The how is handled by divine intelligence, and divine intelligence never fails. My only work is to speak in faith, act in alignment, and receive with gladness. I no longer tie blessings to effort alone, I now allow room for grace. I no longer measure money by logic alone, I invite the supernatural. I know that life holds more ways to bless me than I could ever plan for. So I open my arms wide and declare, I am ready for surprises. I am ready for ease. I am ready for joy. I see money as a river, not a wall. It flows, it curves, it rushes in response to the channels I open with my thoughts and my tone. The moment I say, I am a receiver of divine compensation, the floodgates begin to respond. The moment I stop resisting and start expecting, the increase begins to manifest. I now live in a state of daily expectation, not of problems, but of blessings. I wake each morning and ask, how will money find me today? I look for signs. I stay in gratitude. I bless what I have, and I affirm that more is on the way. It is not my job to predict the path. It is my job to speak the truth and rest in it. I now declare with sacred confidence, it is not my job to figure out the how. I speak the what, and God delivers. I am not the supplier, I am the receiver. I do not carry the burden, I carry the faith. My words are not requests, they are permissions. When I say I receive, I give heaven permission to pour out its storehouses. When I say, "It is done," I close the gap between my desire and its fulfillment. I no longer try to control the journey, I trust the wisdom that guides it. I speak, I align, I believe, and the divine delivers. It is not my job to figure out the how. I speak the what, and God delivers. I trust this spiritual law as I trust the sunrise certain, unshaken, and unfolding in perfect time. I no longer carry the weight of strategy or strain. I do not wrestle with logic or stress over the mechanics of manifestation. My role is clear: to declare, to believe, and to receive. The moment I speak my desire, I release it into the divine machinery of the universe, which knows how to bring it to pass in ways far beyond my comprehension. I do not lean on my own understanding. I rest in divine intelligence. The substance of supply is already in motion. The money, the favor, the open doors, they are already forming, moving, arranging themselves in response to the sound of my voice. I need not labor over possibilities. I need not construct the bridge. The bridge is already being built beneath my feet as I walk. I speak my truth and keep walking. I say what I desire and move in joy. I release the outcome from my hands and entrust it to divine law, which never forgets, never delays, never errs. I now bless the process even when I cannot see progress. I speak life over silence. I speak abundance in the waiting. I say, "Thank you, Father, that it is already done," before it arrives. For I know that behind every quiet moment is an orchestration of miracles. I know that heaven is never late, and my good is never lost. I trust the invisible. I honor the unseen. And with every breath, I remain aligned with the vibration of already having. Because I speak the what with confidence, I no longer fear spending. I no longer worry about money going out. I know it is all part of the divine cycle. When I give, it is multiplied. When I spend, it is blessed. I speak blessings over every dollar that leaves my hand, knowing it returns to me pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I say it with reverence. Every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied. Money blesses me as it goes and grows as it returns. I do not cling, I circulate. I do not hoard, I trust. For money is not something I lose, it is something I send, and it comes back home with increase. I now speak with gratitude over every transaction. I thank the money as it moves. I thank the law that governs its return. I do not resent bills, I bless them. I do not fear expenses. I call them opportunities for expansion. The more I circulate with faith, the more I receive with grace. I talk to money not as something that escapes me, but as a loyal companion that honors my energy. When I bless it, it responds. When I release it in love, it returns with favor. I am no longer afraid of letting go, because I know who my source is. My supply is not in a paycheck, it is in the hands of God. I now step into the next level of wealth by changing the way I speak and the way I spend. I declare that every act of giving is sacred, and every return is inevitable. I am now preparing myself to receive in full, for I have released in full. I have sown with joy, and I shall reap with joy. I affirm with peace. I am now living in my wealthy reality. It is done. It is finished. I receive it in full. I am now living in my wealthy reality. It is done. It is finished. I receive it in full. I no longer talk about it as if it's coming. I speak from the place of already arrived. I have shifted my speech from hoping to knowing, from waiting to receiving, from someday to now. My wealthy reality is not far, it is here, wrapped around me, revealing itself in signs, symbols, and sudden shifts. I walk through my day as one who has already claimed the promise. already stepped into the overflow, already received the inheritance. I don't need to ask if it's on the way. I already live inside the answer. Because I live in my wealthy reality, I treat my environment with reverence. I move with dignity. I speak with clarity. I expect favor, because favor is a natural part of my atmosphere. I expect opportunities, because I walk in divine timing. I expect doors to open, because my wealthy self no longer knocks, she is invited in. My speech reflects my status. I no longer use the language of lack, delay, or fear. I speak the vibration of completion. I say, I am ready. I say, it is mine. I say, I am provided for in full. There is no more room for contradiction in my voice. I have silenced the echoes of not enough. I have deleted the language of survival. Now I speak from stability. I speak from surplus. I speak from joy. And everything in my life is beginning to mirror my words. My reality is catching up with my vibration. The more I live in this state of already having, the more heaven pours out without hesitation. My job is not to force the outcome. My job is to speak from the outcome. So I rise each day and talk to myself like the wealthiest version of who I am. I look in the mirror and speak to the one who has already made it. I declare, you are abundant, you are taken care of, you are living proof of divine provision. And as I affirm, I rewire every cell of my being to believe what my spirit already knows. I no longer chase, I no longer wait, I no longer plead, I receive, I dwell in completion. And from this high place everything I need flows with ease. I affirm again and again, I am living in my wealthy reality. Not next week, not next year, now. And the now is holy, the now is fertile, the now is where all power resides. From this now I speak blessings into my life. From this now I prepare to overflow. I give thanks for what is seen, and I praise what is still invisible, because in spirit all things are already mine. The seen simply obeys the spoken, and as I continue to live in this completed state, I let it settle deep into my bones that this reality is mine forever. I do not fear it leaving me. I do not worry about it fading. It is fixed. It is sealed. It is eternal. I now open my hands, my heart, and my home. I let the floodgates open wide. I welcome the increase. I honor the divine order. I prepare for the physical to catch up with the spiritual, and I repeat with unwavering faith, I am now living in my wealthy reality. It is done. It is finished. I receive it in full. And so it begins. And so it begins. As I live in this wealthy reality, I no longer question whether it will last, because I know it is not built on luck, it is built on law. I am not in a fleeting moment of favor. I am in an eternal covenant of provision. Wealth is not something I stumbled upon, it is something I've aligned with. It is something I've agreed with. It is something I've spoken into being. And every time I speak with faith, the universe listens and responds in kind. I now speak of increase as my daily rhythm. I expect it. I welcome it. I allow it. Every dollar I spend returns to me multiplied. It does not leave me empty, it leaves me expanded. I no longer spend with fear. I release with power. Money is not lost. It is not gone. It is not wasted. It is in motion. It circulates with purpose. It travels in love and returns in abundance. I speak to it as it flows from my hands. Bless you, and return with increase. I speak to every purchase, every transaction, every gift. You are planted in fertile soil, and you will rise with more. I have stepped into a deeper understanding. Money is not just physical, it is spiritual. It responds to my tone. It follows the direction of my voice. When I speak multiplication, multiplication must happen. I no longer see giving as subtraction, I see it as divine sowing. I give with joy, not with calculation. I give with trust, not with tension. Because I know that whatever leaves my life in love will come back in overflow. My money is blessed. It is surrounded by angels. It is charged with sacred energy. It goes into the world to bless, to serve, to expand, and it comes back to me, overflowing, elevated, and energized. There is no loss in divine law, only return, only rise, only reward. And so I spend with confidence, because I know who I am. I am a steward of the divine economy. I speak well of money, and it responds in kind. I let go of guilt, of shame, of fear, of hesitation. I no longer apologize for having more. I no longer shrink myself to seem humble. I walk in true humility by honoring the supply I've been given, by using it wisely, by speaking life over it, by letting it grow through me. I treat money as sacred, because it is a tool of love when placed in the hands of the faithful. I know that wealth is not, the goal alignment is. And when I align with truth, wealth must follow. I do not separate the spiritual from the financial. They are one. They are both energy, both vibration, both reflection of belief. I speak to my finances with reverence. I declare their purpose. I call them holy. And in this frequency money obeys. It cannot resist the one who blesses it. It cannot deny the one who calls it forth in love and wisdom. So I now release all fear about spending. I release all anxiety about enough. I am always provided for. I am always restored. I am always in circulation with the divine. And now I rise into even greater truth. I no longer need to prove or strive or convince. I speak, and I receive. I declare, and I walk in it. I now prepare to affirm with all the power of completion. I am now living in my wealthy reality. It is done. It is finished. I receive it in full. And so I open my arms, and I say again with power, I am now living in the overflow. I am now living in the overflow. I am no longer waiting for a breakthrough. I am the breakthrough. I do not live in anticipation of blessings. I live inside the blessing. I do not visit wealth occasionally. I dwell in it permanently. Overflow is not a gift I earn, it is a state I embody. I do not question if I'm worthy of it, because the very breath within me is proof that I am. I was born to receive. I was created for abundance, and now that I have spoken it, believed it, and lived it, I anchor myself in it. Overflow surrounds me. It pours through me. It expresses as me. I am walking evidence that divine supply is real and ever present. In this state, I no longer speak as a seeker. I speak as a receiver. I no longer imagine increase as a distant dream. I acknowledge it as my current reality. I talk to myself not as one hoping for change, but as one already changed. My language has shifted. My posture has shifted. My spirit has shifted. I live in the reality of answered prayers. I no longer repeat old stories of lack. I tell new stories of miracles. I recount the times money arrived out of nowhere, the times bills were paid before deadlines, the times I gave and received in the same breath. I hold those moments as proof that the law works, that faith manifests, that God provides. I speak from wholeness. I speak from fullness. I say, I am now living in my wealthy reality. It is done. It is finished. I receive it in full. And as I say it, I feel the weight of all old limitation dissolve. I am no longer asking the world for permission to prosper. I have given myself the divine permission. I have accepted the call. I have agreed with heaven. I speak, I believe, and I receive. It flows because I flow. It multiplies because I bless. It stays because I no longer push it away with fear or doubt. I have become the vessel. My energy has become the invitation. My words have become the gate. The overflow is no longer just around, mate is me. I live from it. I breathe through it. I give because of it. I am so filled with supply that I no longer wonder if I have enough. I wonder who else I can bless. I no longer keep score, I keep flowing. I no longer shrink, I expand. My wealth now reaches into every corner of my life, my health, my relationships, my ideas, my voice. I am rich in all ways, because I speak in all truth. And so, for these 3 days and beyond, I talk to myself like the sacred soul I am. I speak words that shape worlds. I affirm realities that heaven already wrote for me. I let no word fall from my lips without power. I release no sentence without purpose. My voice is the frequency of fulfillment. My affirmations are divine instructions. My declarations are agreements with destiny. Every time I speak wealth, I hear the echo of God saying, "It is so." I do not wait, I align. I do not hesitate, I trust. And I do not chase, I magnetize. I talk to myself like this, and everything in my life must now rise to meet it. My words are the law, and the law has already moved. I am wealthy now. I am wealthy now. I am wealthy now. I receive divine supply with ease. I receive divine supply with grace. I receive divine supply with joy. Money flows to me. Money grows through me. Money stays with me. I am one with the source of all wealth. I am one with the source of all wealth. I am one with the source of all wealth. I no longer chase, I attract. I no longer beg, I believe. I no longer wait, I receive. My words are power. My words are truth. My words are law. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied. Every dollar I spend returns multiplied. I am living in my wealthy reality. It is done. It is done. It is done. Overflow is mine. Overflow is mine. Overflow is mine. I give thanks. I give praise. I give permission. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is.